Everyone knows that the best way to deal with anything difficult is to suck it up and not let it get to you. Right? Well, sort of. In this post, we'll explore the philosophy of Stoicism, which suggests exactly that. But it's not as easy as it sounds. Stoic philosophers believed that the world was irrational and that humans are inherently powerless in the face of natural forces beyond our control. As a result, they believed that the only rational response to life is indifference toward all external events, called apatheia in Greek. In other words, we should stop caring about things that don't matter anyway. The principles of Stoicism can be difficult to put into practice, especially when we're talking about emotions like fear, anger or love, but also have many benefits if practiced correctly. Assume nothing. One major aspect of Stoicism is the idea that we should not make assumptions. If we were to put this into practice, we might realize that much of the anxiety we feel in life comes from making assumptions that are often wrong. We might wrongly assume that other people will behave a certain way or make certain choices, or that things will always turn out in a certain way. Stoicism would ask us to question these assumptions so that we can respond more appropriately in various situations. On a larger scale, Stoicism would encourage us to question generalizations about entire groups of people and other species. For example, we often make assumptions about entire species, such as insects, being bad, when in fact there are many individual creatures that are helpful to humans. Be careful with your words. This aspect of Stoicism is related to the idea of not making assumptions. If we were to follow Stoic principles, we would try to carefully choose our words in all situations, not just those involving other people. Again, much of our anxiety comes from saying the wrong thing, or making a slip-up in conversation. Stoicism would suggest that we try to be more careful with our words, even when we're just talking to ourselves. Indeed, much of the self-talk we do is negative and critical in nature. Stoicism would ask us to try to be more careful with our self-talk, so we can avoid feeding our anxiety with negative imagery. Be responsible. This is another aspect of Stoicism that might seem like common sense. After all, if we were to take more responsibility for our actions, we would feel less regret and anxiety about things we have done or failed to do in the past. However, Stoicism takes this concept to the extreme, urging us to take responsibility for everything that happens, no matter how little control we have over it. Again, Stoicism would suggest that we don't blame natural forces for our misfortunes. Instead, it would suggest that we try to internalize our feelings so that we can maintain a stoical attitude toward the world. Don't let others dictate your actions. Another Stoic ideal is that we shouldn't let others dictate how we should act and what we should think. This would suggest that we don't base our actions on the expectations or demands of others, and we don't let other people's opinions change our sense of who we are. Again, this might seem like common sense, but we often let others get to us and let other people's opinions define us. Again, Stoicism would recommend that we try to maintain an internal locus of control, and not let others dictate our actions. Take care of yourself. One major aspect of Stoicism is the idea that we should take care of ourselves as best we can and not expect others to do everything for us. This isn't about not having any concern for other people. It's about being aware of our own needs and being responsible for taking care of them. For example, instead of always expecting your partner to comfort you when you're upset, Stoicism would suggest that you take care of yourself in these situations. However, Stoicism would suggest that we don't take this too far and become selfish, unsympathetic people. Instead, it would recommend that we take care of ourselves first, so that we can be the best people we can be for others. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that suggests we should not care about external events, such as what others say or do, or what happens to us in life, because they are all outside of our control. This can be difficult to put into practice, but it also has many benefits if done correctly. Ultimately, Stoicism asks us to take a more philosophical attitude toward life by questioning our assumptions, taking responsibility for our actions, and not letting others dictate how we should act. With these things in mind, it may be easier to practice the philosophy of Stoicism and live a more stoical life.